Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Awakening Wednesday. I'm blessed and grateful to have you here today. What a magnificent joy it is. And there's a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. There we go. Today we're talking about taking a walk with the shadow self. And before we get into that yummy conversation, let us explore some of the wonderful things that are happening here at Universal Spirit Center. Spiritual Practices, which is a class that our beloved Lee Amentrout is leading. 10 weeks. This is a fabulous class. It will start on September the 12th, 6:30 to 9. It is also a hybrid class, so you don't have to be here in San Diego to partake in this class. It will be a wonderful opportunity to create more community, to be a part of something, and to dive deeper into your spiritual practice. Membership class with Reverend Kevin is getting ready to kick off. Membership class. One second, let's go back there. Yes, with Reverend Kevin and Reverend Sarah. August the 23rd and the 30th tonight, 6:30 to 8. No fee for these classes, just to get an idea for the foundation of what is needed to become a member and how you can move further. Our history, it's really, I didn't realize the time frame, but this is in alignment with the actual date of August the 26th that the women's suffrage movement took place. So the U.S. women's suffrage movement had its roots in the abolition movement. Also, Susan B. Anthony and about 15 other women voted illegally in the presidential election in 1872. The women's suffrage movement was decided a long fight to win the right to vote for women in the United States. This took over 100 years, and on August the 26th is the actual date that everyone in the Constitution had the right to vote. So let's make sure we celebrate that. Our prayer. We are the light bearers of love. We are the light bearers of love and peace, forgiveness, vibrating the flames of equality, grace, and peace all over the world. To overcome racial and sexual inequality, we welcome our history. We are all a part of our history. And this coming Saturday is First Saturday with the Angels with our beloved Margot Alora. That will take place at the office, 3930 Utah. If you have more questions, you can always go to our webpage, universalspiritcenter.org, or info@Universal Spirit Center. And it's from 10 to 12, September the 2nd. All right, so a lot of good stuff going on. And as always, this community is a thriving community because of you, because of all of your gifts, your time, your talent that you give. And I want to say to all of those that have stepped up to help Lee and Bob, they have a much needed time away that will take place the first weekend of September. And I know they're still looking for a few more people to help with setup and tear down for our Sunday gathering. So please, if you're interested, come this Sunday. You are welcome with open arms, no matter how much or how little you can do. We appreciate it all. And just as you know, we appreciate all of your giving. We are a community that thrives on the divine consciousness of absolute abundance. We know it, we live it, and you absolutely express it. So a couple little things are not acting correctly, but there's our QR code. We also have a Venmo QR code. You can find that on our webpage. It's not acting right now, but know that we appreciate everything that you give to us. Without you, this wonderful spiritual community could not do the things that it does. So know that your giving online is as important as when you give when you're in person. We are a hybrid community. So, we stream Sunday and Wednesday to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We have a whole production team to help us do that, and that is a cost to the center. So I know all of you appreciated this past Sunday, not having to get out in the rain. So I just want to remind you that hitting that QR code is super important. It is an absolute way that we can participate in giving back to the center. So I thank you, thank you, thank you. So we'll have a bit of a conversation about the walk with our shadow, and then we'll do about a 12 or 10-minute meditation surrounding that as well. So, I want to say, wow, this whole idea of the shadow self that has like this dark gloom over it, that there's something wrong. But everything in the universe has a yin and a yang. The sun, the moon, the day, the night, everything. And so I'm embracing the shadow self as this wonderful opportunity to get to know something about myself at a deeper level, something that maybe, you remember those trash compactors? Well, when you put trash in there, it would press it all the way down. And there are things that have happened in our life that have traumatized us, that have hurt us, memories that we have that taunt us. And so a lot of times we have just pushed it down. Now, it doesn't get rid of it. It's still there. And having that in our body, in our awareness, because it comes up through our feelings and emotions. Certain things trigger us in a different way, or we get triggered very quickly. So recognizing this shadow self, not being afraid of it, actually welcoming it in, will really help us lift our vibration. And I'm all about lifting the vibration to a higher level, to a higher frequency. So there's a simple practice that we can partake in, but I want you to start thinking right now, what are some things that may be in your shadow self? Could it be anger? Sometimes it's a feeling of not feeling worthy or not feeling appreciated. Jealousy. Maybe you were cheated on by a husband or a boyfriend or a lover or a partner. Maybe you have abandonment things running. So just start letting that come up, not to push it away, or maybe if you can't recognize it that way, maybe there's an incident that comes to mind, something that occurs to you that has happened. And one of the things about this is that the feeling is a feeling that you'll know. Not only will you know it, most of the time we have justified that that feeling is correct. And so I love this little video that's playing behind me because it is the shadow self trying to get our attention that, hey, there's something going on. There's a thought process that you have. There's a feeling that you have that no longer supports you, and that you have the tools now to move beyond. You have the tools to take this emotion, this story, this event, this experience. You now have the tools to shift this, to be aware of it. And with this, I love this, the inner self, because there's actually a shadow that's cascading from this video. Throughout our life, shadows are there, and it's interesting that there's a kind of a darkness over shadows that, oh, let's not talk about it, let's not participate in it. Shadows are dark. But shadows have gifts within them that can illuminate us to greater living, higher consciousness, and become more receptive, where we can begin to practice ourselves in a way that we don't have to wait until the shadow becomes a massive elephant that's sitting on our chest before it gets our attention. How powerful is that we could participate in this divine action, because it's a part of life, and anything a part of life is something that is a part of evolution. Anything a part of evolution. One of the things that came up for me when I started looking at the shadow work was the feelings that I have toward inequity, toward racism. And it's very easy to point the finger out there. But there was a trigger happening within this feeling of hopelessness, this feeling that I constantly have to explain who I am or what I am. And so when I went a little further underneath that, what was sitting up underneath there was that I'm still not enough. Still not enough. I've got to get better. And so kind of holding hand in hand with that is loving myself right where I am. That, yes, sometimes it's infuriating, the things that you hear that are happening, but I do believe they're happening because the world right now, its shadow self is up. And we want to turn away. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to go there. It's negative. I don't want to do it. But I would bend your ear to listen to what's coming up for you. Because the entire world is trying to up-level its shadow self. There are those of us that are working to understand it, to appreciate it, so that we can lift higher. And there are those of us that are afraid, that have a feeling that, the world is coming to an end. And when people tell me that, I always share that we don't have that kind of power. We don't have that kind of power. We are very powerful. But we don't have that kind of power to end the world, to end the existence of life. No. So, but what we are transforming through is ending the old paradigms that have been with us. Ending the way we used to see and be in this world. And so the shadow of the world that is coming up all over the world, the anger that's that's happening for people, the injustice that a lot of people feel, that is a feeling that's been within them, that the world has been stifling their growth, that the world has been stopping your divine essence of living to your highest and best. And I know you know what I'm getting ready to say, that the world cannot stop our divine essence. Only we can. And so this wonderful work of walking with our shadow, I like that idea of walking with my shadow. Have you ever been walking down the street at night and you get a glimpse of a shadow and it startles you, and then you realize it's yourself? You realize like, oh, that's me. Well, this walking with our shadow, this too is a conversation that actually moving the shadow out of the shadow and into our awareness. It is doing its work there because that is where it is to be. But once we become aware of our shadow, whatever that shadow is, it could be a shadow around relationship, money, health. You know, I have some very dear friends in my life that believe beyond a doubt that what their family had in their medical experience is what they have to experience as well. And I know there are a lot of people that have that sentiment that, well, it's passed down through my DNA. And I will say this, that I'm coming to understand that the energy of old paradigms that have been deeply rooted into our family dynamic, that there are things that within all of our families that have been passed down inherently. And it takes one to not participate. I remember an example of that. My mother and my aunt came to me, I think I was in my early 30s, and they started talking to me about menopause. And they said, look, you're going to have a hell of a time in menopause. And I'm like, what? Your grandmother had a hard time. My mom said, I'm having a hell of a time right now. My aunt said she had just a horrible time. And I said, stop, I'm not going to have that. And my cousin was sitting there, and she started to laugh. She's like, oh, you're going to be different. I said, absolutely. Now, at this time, I didn't necessarily know, but what I did know is that I didn't want that. I was very clear. It's like, why would I accept that? I said, that doesn't have anything to do with me. And to help at that time fight the battle of my mother and my aunt having this conversation with me, I said to my family, you know, I do have a father's side. So on that side, they don't have any. There's no menopause, kill yourself life existence. It's all easy breezy. That was the best that I could do at that time to assimilate that this was not for me, and I did not have that experience. I have friends that, Gino, you haven't, what? It hasn't come yet. I said, no, there is no it. I'm very clear that I have chosen something very different. And, you know, health is it's like money. It's so close to us that a lot of times it's hard to have that, well, let me choose my words. A lot of times the challenge is the practice to separate. It has to be more diligent than in some other arenas. But because at that time, to me, menopause was something that was years away and had nothing to do with me, I could kick it out of my mind and I had no recall of it, none. And so when supposedly, quote unquote, time for that to happen, I was not aware of it. It was not something in my purview that I focused on or that I was talking about or worried about. I had no relationship with it. So when we understand that, when we understand our power and how deep this power is, how powerful this power is, we begin to recognize that we don't have power in one area, but not in another. We don't have power in relationships, but not in finances. Or we have power in finances, but not in health. That simply means that there's been a practice of one or the other that we have a greater relationship with, that we have a different commitment with. So if it is health, whatever it is, we have shadow in all of these different areas: relationship, health, finances, friendship, family, all different areas. And I'm sure now as you're sitting there, things are starting to come up for you. So this is what we're going to do. If you like, if you have a journal, you can get your journal and start to write in that, this process. And you don't have to, because this is something that we'll do out loud. And then after this process, we'll go into a meditation. And the meditation that we are going to have this evening will be on love and acceptance of self. So I thought it was really beautiful. I started to do a meditation on the shadow, but as this is the beginning of shadow work, because you can always keep clearing out, and really get that as you bring out whatever shadow is there, and by that I mean the shadow that triggers you, that you see that's happening, that it's participating fully with you in your life. As you get a clear understanding of that shadow and move that shadow up, you are lifted in your frequency and vibration. And you will have new and beautiful experiences. So, first off, get your journal if you have one, and if not, it's okay. You don't have to. Or if you want to write on a piece of paper, if you're one that likes to write, great. And if not a problem either. Let me do this. So the first thing we want to do is to think of something. Think of something that you want to work on. Whatever it is, it could have been a painful breakup that happened some years ago, or maybe even yesterday. Or it could be relationships that are repeating themselves, that you are interacting with the same type of personality and you feel a certain way within that relationship. That may be coming up. It may be about finances. That someone shared a story with me, and I think when you're dealing with financial issues, this is a story that I've heard frequently. So the person was saying, hey, I'm finally at zero, everything is paid off, I'm good, and then they have another major expense that pops up. Bam. And I want to say pop up, but it's not even a pop up. It is part of the process. It is there to, bam, here you go. Here you go. And we laughed about it, and I was like, that's definitely part of the shadow self. Because in the shadow self, there are mechanisms that we've used to, at times, they've helped us get through. But when that becomes, when you start to become aware of this thing, like, hey, I just had money for this and that, oh, then this happened. Or I was able to do this and this, oh, and then this happened. Those are cycles that you're in. And so shadow self, the shadow definitely has cycles that are running. And when you become aware of it, wow, that starts to lift. So it could be a situation like that. It could be feelings of unworthiness, feelings of not being appreciated by family or friends or lover. It could be low self-confidence or low self-esteem. So just take a minute right now and just think about what that could be, what's coming up for you. And I would suggest just taking one that comes up for right now. We don't overwhelm ourselves. Let's just take one instance that comes up. And let's become aware of that. So before we go on, I forgot to ask you to do this. I think this is really cool. I did it and it really made a difference to me. So if you're sitting in a chair or if you're sitting on your bed, if you can bring another chair in front of you. And I would say bring something in front of you so as it's not across the room from you, but it's directly in front of you, as if there was a person sitting there. So I'll give you a few moments to do that. While you're doing that. So there's this chair that's sitting in front of you. So we have thought about the thing that we want to work on, whatever it is. It could be health. It could be like, okay, I'm feeling better, everything is going well, and then maybe you trip and sprain your ankle. Or maybe you have a diagnosis that goes deeper. So whatever it is, the thing that you want to work on, now as you sit there, invite it to sit in this chair. Invite it to come in and sit in front of you. And you can, I like speaking out loud because I like to hear what I'm saying. Sometimes when I'm writing, I don't always hear what I'm saying. And then later I can write, but a lot of times when I'm in the process and you decide what is best for you. But I would speak out loud, whatever it is, you're welcome to come and sit with me and let's have a conversation. Invited to sit down and have a conversation with you. And take a deep breath. There may be some emotions moving through. You may be feeling a little flustered. You could be angry. You could be sad. You could be fearful. But whatever it is, know that there is nothing dark that's going to happen to you. There's nothing dark that's going to take over. So if you've invited it to sit down, to have a conversation. So one of the first questions to ask, whatever the shadow is that you have invited, what do you want from me? And I would speak this out loud, and if you are one that likes to write, I would speak it out loud first and then write it. What do you want from me? And sometimes people are angry, so they're screaming. But take a breath. If there's emotions coming up, it's okay. You're in divine safety. Nothing is going to hurt or harm you. What do you want from me? And let's just wait a few moments. I will share that when I asked the question, for my work. I don't want to confuse it. I'll wait. I'll hold that. But listen, and listen to what comes up. Another question: how is this serving me? How is this serving me? And you may have a question of your own that comes up. Please feel free. And you just may want to sit with these questions. But whenever you do the practice, please make sure that there is a chair, an empty chair, or something there sitting in front of you that you can have this conversation with. It will help you stay focused and be aware that energy is palpable and it is communicating with you. Another question: what is on the other side of this feeling or action? What is on the other side of this feeling or action? And I'll repeat it one more time. Well, actually, I have one more question and then I'll repeat all of them again. So the last question: what is the new consciousness within me that is trying to emerge? What is the new consciousness within me that is trying to emerge? So take a deep breath right here. Things are moving, things are happening. Just take a deep breath. I'm going to repeat the questions again. So the first question, just in case you were wanting to write them down, because you can use this for this time and for other times when you decide to do more shadow work. What do you want from me? Remember, these are the questions that you're having conversation with, the shadow that you're having conversation with. The question is, what do you want from me? Second question, how is this serving me? How is this serving me? The third question, what is on the other side of this feeling or action? And I'll add in there, or reaction. What is on the other side of this feeling or action or reaction? And the last one, what is the new consciousness within me that is trying to emerge? What is the new consciousness within me that is trying to emerge? You know, energy is constantly moving and expanding. So we are not the same. We're not the same person we were 10 years ago. 5 years ago. We're not even the same person that we were yesterday. And so as you sit there in this conversation, one of the most important things is not to judge whatever comes up. Don't judge it. Don't be ashamed. Don't justify. This is an opportunity to just become aware and listen. Every 7 years, our skin, our cells, everything replenishes itself. So whatever mindset that this shadow was then, it's not the same now. You have grown consciously, spiritually, emotionally. You are a new dynamic expression. And sometimes we are, one of the things on this, the inner self. Sometimes people talk about our inner self, the little self within us, the inner self, the inner child, I should say, not the inner child. And some people relate all of their life to the inner child, but you know, there are things that we learned as a child that we can release. There are ways that we needed to protect ourselves as children that we never unpacked that trauma. It's in the trash compactor within us. It's just been pushed down. But there are also things that we have put in the trash compactor that we learned five days ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, that we have been participating in unconsciously. So as you do this exercise, please do not judge yourself. No need to justify, no blame or shame. Just hear it and acknowledge it. That's all. Just hear it. I hear you. I acknowledge it. I am absolutely aware now. And you can decide in that moment, there are certain things that will come up that will make you laugh. You're like, wow, I can't even still believe that this thought was in the trash compactor. This had been pushed down. The stories that come along with it, just hear them and appreciate it and release it. If you feel called to reframe it, to rename it, but make sure that in that you're not justifying the story. You're not judging the story. You're raising the vibration. So if you blame, shame, justify, then that's still the low vibrational. That's still in the trash compactor. You're wanting to lift from the trash compactor up to the higher level of consciousness. And this process over the next few days, you'll feel lighter and lighter if you hear it and acknowledge it. And it will come up through an experience, through a conversation, through a feeling. And when it does, there you are, shadow. I see you. I hear you. I acknowledge you. And I can release you. You may know that you no longer need that shadow in that way. The shadow is not there to haunt you. The shadow is there to support you. But the shadow does not want to live with you. Just as the sun comes, as we see that tree, there is a shadow that comes over that. But once the sun comes in full beam and focus, the shadow dissipates. So once you become fully aware of the greatness and power that you are, that shadow will dissipate. You know, sometimes when we look at the shadow places in us, this came up for me that sometimes we're fighting mediocrity. We're fighting to be mediocre. We don't want to admit it, but we're fighting to just be what the cycle of what we have known that keeps us in the perpetual hamster wheel. And in order to shift higher than that, we have to let go of the things that no longer serve us. It served its purpose at its time, but now it is time to elevate because you are not the same person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even yesterday. Our bodies are constantly regenerating. Our thoughts can regenerate. Our thoughts can escalate. But we must practice that. Most of the time, we practice the same frame of thinking. And you know it's coming. And it's crazy because we think we'll get a different outcome. We think we'll get a different outcome. If we practice the same thinking that we had when we were 20, 22, 15, 30, we will continue 40, 45. We will continue to get that outcome. Shadow work is a beautiful awareness to take a look at yourself, to look and regain your power where you once had given it away to a circumstance, to a situation, or to a person. You can now, in your home, release yourself from that. Release the old thinking and elevate to the new consciousness that's being birthed. We're seeing it all over the world. We are in the age of the Aquarius. The shadow work is not sad, depressing work. It's empowering work. It is a practice to cleanse the trash compactor, to help the trauma in our body rise, to hear it, to acknowledge it, and to let it go. Now, as you do this, it may not happen in this moment, but your energy is definitely rising. If you truly release without judgment, without blame or shame or justification, your frequency will rise and you will find yourself feeling lighter, feeling more engaged, and being more aware of your divinity. So as you close your session with the chair, thank it. Thank your shadow. Thank your shadow self. Appreciate your shadow. Appreciate all that it does daily to help you recognize your greatness. Help you recognize your power. And it doesn't matter what you're going through. You get to choose the words and the thoughts. And I don't want you to think that I'm saying it's easy or that saying it as something, just a little light thing. Oh, anybody can do it. Well, we all have the power to do it. But the practice to do it takes discipline. I used to really dislike that word. Discipline. It takes dedication of self, and it takes an appreciation that you are worth it, that the time, and I'm not talking, you don't have to spend hours, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. The more you practice, the easier it gets and the quicker you get to it. The quicker you become aware of it. It's like anything, when we initially start something, it takes a little minute to find your groove, to get into a flow, or even to create what that flow will be. So I do understand that. And when things are close to us, if it's finances or health, that or our broken heart, that, because it is so close, it requires even more dedication. Because it's easy to say, oh, forget it. I'll just keep doing and thinking what I've done. I mean, I'm making it. But you don't want to make it. You want to thrive in life. You want to live life to its fullest. So, thank you for going through this process. I know we didn't have time, so I'm hoping on your own you will really sit in the quiet and go through the process. And to close this evening out, we will do a meditation. And this song came to mind that I thought was really powerful. I thought it was powerful. I guess it doesn't want to play. Let's try one more time. Okay. So, that being said then, let us get ready for meditation. So in that comfortable chair that you're in, let your body relax. Or if you decide that you want to lay flat on your back, make sure your hands are by your side and they're turned open. Or if you're sitting in a chair, have your palms face up to receive all that is within you, to receive this divine energy. So first off, let's just take a nice deep breath. Let's breathe in through our nose and then exhale through our mouth. Breathe in again through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. And one more time, breathe in. Now as we relax, we'll take this opportunity to allow our body and our mind just to become still. Still our mind right now. Any thoughts that are passing through, just let them pass. Having a nice rhythm to your breath. Breathing in and out. In and out. In and out. And this time, as you breathe in, I want you to breathe right into your heart space, right there in the middle of your chest. Breathe into that heart space. And breathe out. With each breath that you breathe, think of something that you appreciate about yourself. Whatever it is that you appreciate, it doesn't matter how big or how small, just think of something that you appreciate about you and then hold that in your heart. And as you hold that thought of that awareness of whatever it is that you appreciate, allow that feeling to be expressed on your face. Feel that joy and appreciation. And as you keep your attention on your heart, you see the light all around your heart. It is getting bigger and bigger. With this appreciation and gratitude, think of one more thing that you appreciate about you, about yourself. And put that in your heart space. Just appreciate it. Allow the feeling to move through your entire body. Just allow it to move through every area of your body. Feel this light tingling as it goes through each chakra. And as the light touches the chakra in your gut, it lights up. The chakra right below your navel, it lights up. The chakra in the bottom chakra, allow it to light up. And then take that heart light and go to the throat and allow that light to light up. And then you move the light up to the third eye. Keep breathing, allowing the heart space of this light to just flow through you. And then from the third eye to the top of your head, feel the light there. Just take a deep breath in and release. And just really feel appreciation flowing in every area of your body. Feel it flowing from the very top of your head all the way down through the sacred bottom chakra, your sex chakra, our reproductive chakra, the life essence chakra. And as you allow the light of each chakra to shine through your body, feeling love and appreciation for yourself. Right now, we will shine this light on our shadow self. Taking a deep breath in, hold it, and release. Noticing that the light around the shadow, that the shadow self is lit with light as well. That it is filled with love, gratitude, creativity, adventure. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Hold it. Now release. As you look at this shadow self, you will have no fear of it, for you can see that it is a part of you and it is loving you. It is here to support you. It is taking every step with you. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Hold it. And release. See your shadow self holding your hand, shining the love back to you, here for you. And now reach your hand out right where you are, open your arms wide, and say to the universe, I accept all of my good. I receive it now. Take a breath in. Hold it. Release. Repeat again. I accept all of my good. I receive it now. Thank you, universe. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And release. Feel the light and loving energy flowing in every area of your body, flowing all around you. And as you bring your hands and place them back on your thigh or beside you, palms up, you see the energy that was all around your room is now all within you. You are a vessel of light. You are a vessel of love. You are the divine vessel of appreciation. And feel it in your body. Just feel it right now. Feel this appreciation. Feel this love. And as each chakra light comes back to the heart space, take your left hand and place it over your heart and your right hand over your left. And now feel that energy within your heart. Feel it. Feel the warmth of the energy. Feel it bubbling up in and through you right now. Feel it loving you. Take another deep breath in. And release. Take a deep breath in right now. Feel all the power that's within you. Know that that power is within your heart. It is always with you. And know that that's your shadow self. Is a safe space for you. It is not here to hurt or harm. It is only to up-level, to uplift, and to release and move forward for a greater expansion in consciousness. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate the love and light that you are. I look forward to seeing you next week, where we will have in the house our beloved Toby Geis doing breath work. I look forward to seeing you Sunday, and until then, may the light of love shine through you. May the light of love always speak through you. May the light of love breathe through you. Peace and blessings.